Story 1.
I 20M broke up with now ex 20F of 3 years about a month ago. A lot of the issues in our relationship, from my perspective, were issues with the dynamic of the relationship, such as we spend too much time together, make each other productive, etc. But there were a couple issues I had with her. Her ability to deal with conflict being the main issue. I felt as if she was almost never level-headed enough, and I always had to be the mature one in every conflict, no matter how angry I was. Now, on a related note, my life has been not progressing much. I feel as if my life has been stalled for the last few years, which is a big issue to have when you're 20. Because at this age it's all about growing. I am not at all where I want to be. I was an all-star high school athlete, destined for at least university-level sports. I didn't live up to it due to issues that occurred during COVID. But now I'm just not succeeding in any aspect of my life. Not that I blame my ex, but I blame my relationship, or at least use it as a scapegoat. I believe being single will force me to face the consequences of my actions and do better for myself, because I won't have the comfort of a loving partner to just fall back to and feel good enough, or safe or satisfied. But back to my dilemma with my ex. I've said goodbye to her and we've cut contact, but she still wants to be in a relationship and says now that we know what all is wrong, because we had an in-depth conversation about what was wrong in the relationship and what can be done to make us better partners to anyone in the future, whether that be each other or new people. We can fix anything wrong with the dynamic, because she's willing to change that, and she can work on her ability to deal with conflict. Now, this girl I've known since we were both 7 and we had been best friends for a long time. She is so loving, loyal and willing to do anything to be my partner and make me happy. I'm worried that I'm throwing away a once-in-a-lifetime girl, for me at least, because I couldn't be self-sufficient enough or work on some more or less fixable issues in the relationship. I'm wondering that once I get my habits right and life on track, should I get back together with her? She truly is willing to give up everything for me, and I feel like throwing all that away is a waste. I still do love her and made my decision purely on looking out for myself and my future, but not much in regard for my feelings. My main concern was that come the day we face a legitimate adult problem such as a death of a child, bankruptcy, or any kind of terrible situation, I'm not sure that she is not the person I'd want to be in a situation like that with, because she is already unable to handle some regular meaningless conflict or obstacles. It might be a maturity issue, but I don't want to stay with her and figure out she is the wrong person to deal with an issue like this too late. I have never had another GF, so I don't have a baseline to compare this relationship to. I don't know how often girls who love you so much for who you are would never leave you, give up everything for you, and just be unbelievably loyal like this come around. I'm sure I'm not the only one to having been in a position like this at some point. What should my next course of action be once I feel like I am a bit more satisfied with myself? Is trying to get back with her something I should revisit, or should I just move on? Peace. I know my grammar and spelling is flawed. I haven't looked over it much. I also am not sure if I chose the correct tag, but I think it's closest to correct since I couldn't find one that fit well. First comment.
This is just my opinion, but do what you think is best for yourself. There will be a lot of what ifs no matter what choice you make. For me, I regret staying in a long-term relationship with my first boyfriend just because I thought he's a nice person and that I should stay with it. Nice person. I had the relationship after high school until I started working. I realized after a few years that we're not good for each other because we're both immature and our issues are not being resolved. Yet, I still stayed because of the thought that he's nice and I might regret leaving him. After the breakup, I realized that breaking up was the best thing for both me and him. We're both in a happy relationship with other people now.
Second comment.
Take my advice with a grain of salt, but parang you're too focused on the future and not on the present. Valid min reason mo na gisto mo muna mag focus sa life mo, but isn't that kind of selfish? In a way, na once you'll get your life back in track, babalik mo siya. Don't get me wrong. It is a really valid reason, but why not do it while being with her? I know na maharap kasi nasa comfort ka of your girlfriend. Why not live your life the way you want it? While being with her, there is that always a possibility of what if it would work out. Try not to be too dependent on her. And live your life the way you want it. Do all those things now you think now that would help you get your life back in track at least for. Once focus on yourself and put your girlfriend on the second list of priorities.
Third comment.
My take on this is you're both still so young, op. You got together when you were teens and even though you lasted a couple of years, there's still a lot more life ahead of you. A lot more things to learn and experience outside of your relationship bubble. As someone who has been in a long-term relationship, with my first BF starting college until my early 20s, I also had the same dilemma as you. Should I stay with this person because they're nice enough and treat me well? Will I be content knowing I will be together only with this person for the rest of my life? These are the questions I asked myself. In the end, we broke up and now after years later we're two really different people. TBH, I don't think we'd really grow and know ourselves if we still stayed together. I still think about that relationship from time to time because it was genuinely a good relationship, and I'd like to believe that if we are meant to be, then life would make a way to get us together. Again, I don't regret the choices I've made. I don't regret letting them go also. I wouldn't know myself as much as I do now if it wasn't for that breakup, so take it from me, op. If you feel that this is the right choice for you, then chances are that it is. Trusting your intuition. Story 2. My cousin to 7F and I 30M have seemingly been on good terms for about 7 years. For context, I am a half Filipino, half German citizen and I recently moved her to PH for go. Before, I always visited the Philippines every year for a vacation to spend time with my family here. I always enjoy my time here. But of course a vacation is vastly different from actually living here. My wish was always to move to PH since I also wasn't really happy in Germany and have been in therapy and on medication for heavy anxiety and depression. But the wish to move here has been there years. Before I got diagnosed, I became aware of the block when I was still in Germany, when her sister tagged her in a post and her name was grayed out. And later I figured out through our chat that I couldn't interact with her anymore, meaning I got blocked. I wondered why. We really didn't chat too much and she already has been in a relationship for a good half a year. I got unblocked by her after about 5 months, I think. To refrain from sending another request on my next vacation. She seemed normal, like nothing was wrong. I confronted her about it then and she said that her boyfriend got jealous and that he blocked me and a few of her other friends as well. Of course I can't speak for those other friends, but I asked her if she thought that was okay to do, but she didn't reply while not looking at me. I told my mom about it when I was still in Germany, but on the day I confronted my cousin, my mom and my cousin's mom talked to her without me knowing. Then doing so though, didn't feel good. She kept it all to herself and didn't even talk to her sister about their behavior. She clearly didn't expect me to speak up about it. I could see her crying a little after we said goodbye. The next year I made the move to PH. The first 5 months we didn't see each other nor did we visit each other. After I got settled in and lived here for a while though, there have been various and obvious attempts by her and her boyfriend to approach me. When she visited with family, or for instance at my tita's birthday, I just left it with a simple hello and no further conversation for most of the time. Her boyfriend especially felt very uncomfortable around me, but the feeling was pretty much mutual. I kept thinking, would they even bother if I ever brought this up back then? I know already that my tita has talked to them about this, but I was still stubborn and pretty much brushed off any further attempt by my cousin. Since I didn't believe in her sincerity, I talked to her sister since her family noticed that I haven't been visiting them like I used to in the past. I told her that felt sad and disappointed by her since she consented to that behavior, but more importantly didn't want anyone to find out. It felt to my like I would do something to hurt her relationship perhaps, and that I thought she's only doing it because her mother told her so, meaning obligation. Her sister already suspected that, but I pretty much just confirmed it. Some time has passed and I kept my distance still though. I feel like I haven't really behaved too well either, basically pushing away all the time or acting aloof, since I really didn't want to talk to them, making this worse. At the end of the day, It's her relationship, so none of my business yet. Should I have just kept my mouth shut about it too? I probably care about this way too much, but I guess part of me is still clinging on to the past hole. And I had good times here, but everyone changes, not only her.
First comment.
You were confused and bothered about something and you spoke up. That's the mature and most sensible thing to do, by speaking up. You drew a line on what is acceptable and not for you. And that you don't sweep issues under the rug. Your cousin, on the other hand, exhibits typical behavior of being non-confrontational and avoidant, common among the masses. It seems like the BF may have been the root of all this. For whatever reasons we can only speculate, however. I would definitely take it as a personal affront if it was just me that he chose to block, but since it wasn't, I would let it go. Whatever issues your cousin and her BF have within their relationship is between them, and due to that, this has caused an unspoken awkwardness between you and her. It's really up to you if you still want to build a friendship with the both of them. If they approach you, be civil.
Second comment.
You did nothing wrong, brother. That's your fucking cousin who blocked you just because her BF told her so. I don't give a shit how jealous her boyfriend was to you, but she chose him over you. A fucking cousin, and we are Filipinos. The only time we ever sever family is when something irreconcilable happened. Not over some jealousy of a fucking boyfriend. You did nothing wrong, bro.
Third comment.
I also had a close cousin that I basically grew up with. I was also a victim of a jealous boyfriend, but she stuck with the notion, no, we're just cousins. And we really are just cousins. They broke up eventually because the guy cheated.